Today, I am working on my plant monster short story again. So, last time I organized a new document, I put some bookmarks so that it's really easy to look at the different parts. I'm not going to look at these right now. I want to go right to the story. So, I had different settings that I was brainstorming, and I had two beginnings, and I chose the second one. So I'm coming back to this after 2 or 3 days of not writing. So the first thing I want to do is reread what I wrote and see how I feel about it, what I want to make changes to. So Rickard knew better than to enter the dark alley, but something about the stranger's soft voice lured him in. That's number one. I don't know if I'm happy with that soft voice. I feel like I could use a stronger word there. Maybe he wanted to escape the heat, already uncomfortable despite the early hour. Maybe visits to the market had become too routine, another chore on an ever-growing list, and he'd have leapt at any distraction. Maybe, just maybe, Rick welcomed the danger, still clinging to youthful dreams of a life away from the farm. Okay, I'm pretty happy with most of that for now. His kids would have understood. Rick's oldest son was a window into his own past, daydreaming more often than not about joining the Kingsguard and practicing shoddy sword work against unimpressed cows. I like the idea of him practicing the sword work against unimpressed cows. I imagine him literally facing off against a cow and swinging the sword around, and the cow just calmly chewing, not really caring. But I was going to change that. I was thinking about changing that. The girls didn't seem to be afraid of anything aside from their mother's threatening scowls. Elm had used a switch on the boy's bottom thrice a day since his third birthday to no avail. Probably change this. We don't want to have 3 and 3 thrice a day since his third birthday. And though she reached for it when the girls were acting out, they either disappeared before she could lay her hands on it, where she found it gone, no longer in the corner by the butter churn. I mean, that was a really rough idea of what the kids would be like. So as I continue writing the story, when we actually meet the kids, I'll get a better idea of their personalities, and then I'll come back and change this. It feels like a lot. I would like to make it a little tighter, condense it a bit more. So we'll worry about that later. Elm would have understood too, but that wouldn't have stopped her cautioning him away from the alley and its dark figure. I think, I always say I think, that sentence establishes the relationship between the husband and wife. She understands him. It also brings us back to the alley and its dark figure, which is where we want to be. We want to focus on that. Though the stranger only stood a few paces in the alley's shadow, that feels wrong. It should probably say into the alley's shadows. He was not... No, I'm not going to change that. Not, but a vague outline, gleaming eyes, and huge cloak. I like the gleaming eyes. I could do more with the gleaming eyes if I wanted to. Just depends on what I want to focus on. Rick took 2 hesitant steps in. I mean, I like the gleaming eyes. I'm thinking on Um, something about the eyes in the darkness. The eyes, they should have, they should have, they could have. I don't want to write these coulda, shoulda, wouldas. I'm toying in my head with the idea of the eyes, that they're gleaming eyes. Gleaming eyes could be threatening, but on this figure, they're not threatening. They're welcoming in some way. So I might have to come back to that. It's too rough of an idea in my head right now. Okay, so play with idea that the eyes, could be threatening in the dark alley, but on this figure, they are, they are excited, they are welcoming in some way. There's something, it's a child's gleam, a child's excited gleam, that kind of thing. And huge, and then I also would like to play with the idea of the cloak. See, I think the gleaming eyes in the cloak, it would seem to suggest danger. What's beneath the cloak? But on this figure, it doesn't. I suppose I don't need to examine it. I'm setting up some tension. Oh, excuse me. I'm setting up some tension. It looks like a threat. So let's just let the reader perceive it as a threat until we learn otherwise. Though the stranger only stood a few paces into the alley's shadows, he was naught but a vague outline, gleaming eyes and huge cloak. So have him light a lantern or candle, has goods spread out on plates and mats in boxes with an animal standing guard. Rick took 2 hesitant steps in, alarmed at the feeling that he was entering an entirely different world. Sounds of hawkers bartering, the ocean below the cliffs, scuffing boots, flapping tents, and coins changing hands, all faded. The stranger might have done a trick with the art, which is what I'm calling magic for now. It didn't make him dangerous. At least, that's what Rick told himself. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that overall. That part needs to get moved. I mean, I already have it here, I guess. I started to write it. The only thing the main thing I'm concerned about is this. I think, giving a list of sounds is okay. But it would be stronger to focus on a few specific sounds and really bring them to life. So, yeah, if I talk about the sounds of hawkers bartering, the ocean below the cliffs, those are okay. I feel like scuffing boots, just those 2 words are already so much stronger than all the other ones. It's a really specific sound. Flapping tents, that's a really specific sound. And coins changing hands with a, jingle, or the jingle of coins changing hands, jingling coins changing hands. I can move that around. And I could say click clack as coins changed hands. I like jingle. Jingle's a very specific sound again. So I'm actually really happy with this. So I don't want it blue. Blue is for things that I'm going to keep looking at and changing. Let's see. The hawkers, bartering. I mean, I'll change some of that. The stranger might have done a trick with the art. It didn't make him dangerous. At least that's what Rick told himself. The alley didn't smell of refuse, and the previous night's drunken and the previous night's no blood from brawls or bodies left for the morning guards to find. 2 candles burst a light, not bright enough to blind Rick. The stranger was definitely using magic. Okay, so that's where I stopped. This one's really rough. The alley didn't smell like Rick would have expected. There were no signs of... I like the word refuse, but I don't think it fits here. There were no signs of... trash, food scraps, or blood. Blood or worse. Most importantly, there weren't any bodies for the morning guards to find. I already said at least, right? At least that's what Rick told himself. Not yet. Rick Rick could be one of those bodies. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe Rick considered beating a hasty retreat lest he become just such a body before he could. 2 candles burst a light. And then I think this would be the next paragraph, I think, because then I can focus on the candles. 2 candles burst a light. They weren't bright enough to blind Rick. Soft enough to light is always tricky for me. I don't know what it is. Soft enough to permeate. I'm thinking outline the merchant, for that's who the stranger was, and his wares in a I want a good color. I want a good soft color. And it's magic, so we could do a blue. I'm thinking a blue. Blue light would be nice. In a instead of soft here, low enough to permeate, outline the merchant. I'm not sure which word. But that's who this, and his wares in a soft sort of aquamarine. I'm thinking of connecting the light to the ocean. We have the ocean behind him down at the bottom of these cliffs. I think having a little bit of callback to that. And it's something that might come into play later. It depends on how much I want to do with colors. There's going to be a lot of greens probably because it's going to be about a plant. So if I have opportunities to use other colors before we get inundated with greens, that would be nice. Low enough to permeate, outline the merchant for that and his wares in a soft aquamarine. Okay, and then I think this sentence can fit fairly well right here. The stranger was definitely using. Where is it? Oh, the art, right? I feel like the T should be capitalized too. The art. You know, if you write the Statue of Liberty, the should be capitalized, I believe. I'm just gonna make it. I can do whatever I want. It's my story. It's a fantasy world. Maybe they capitalize their T's, their thes. Okay, the stranger was definitely using the art. Yeah, but now that I'm looking at this, I don't know. I don't think that fits because we're introducing the idea suddenly that this is a merchant and he has wares. So if I'm introducing the wares, I don't want to talk about the candles anymore. I want to talk about those goods and what does he have. So, but I still want to say a little bit more about the light. They were, however, floating a few inches off the ground. They weren't bright. They were, however, floating a few inches off the ground. The stranger was definitely okay. And this gives me an idea. I'm typing this and I'm thinking. I'm gonna add a comment. I wanted the stranger to be kind of a show person, kind of theatrical. So he has this cloak. He opens the cloak. There's illicit goods in the cloak. I like this idea that there are two candles floating down where there are wares spread out, and later two more candles could, burst a light higher in the air. So it's first you just see what's on the ground, and then poof, 2 more candles. And he opens the cloak and you get to see, ooh, what's all this? Adds a little bit of action too. They were, however, floated. The stranger was definitely using the arm. Low enough to life. That's through the and his wares and his okay. So the light a lantern or candle, we've got that. Has goods spread out on plates and mats in boxes with an animal standing guard. Yeah, I was thinking about a turtle. I don't know if I still want to do a turtle. It's one of those things. It seemed like such a good idea at the time. And now 2-3 days later I'm not in that same headspace, so the idea of the turtle doesn't seem as interesting as it did a couple of days ago. So low enough for that's who the stranger was, and his wares a soft aquamarine. Okay, so an odd assortment of goods had been arranged on an equally random selection of plates and mats, no two the same. And then I have to think of what are these goods that he has. I want there to be a simile at the end of this. I want it to be that it looked as if he'd raided a child's bedroom, or I don't know. I want something. I want this to be a really just random collection of stuff. I like the idea of children collect things that have value to them. Children collect things that have value to them, but not to anyone else. I have 4 children, and it's really interesting to go into their backpack. I'm cleaning my youngest daughter's backpack to help her out, and there's just so much random stuff in there, and I feel like most parents would probably get rid of some of that stuff, but I see a rock in there. Well, I know that that's a rock that she thought was really pretty and she wanted to keep it. So I'll leave it in there for her. Random little toys or bracelets, the kinds of things that kids make for each other. Items like that would be fun for this merchant to have. An odd assortment of goods have been arranged on an equally random selection of plates and mats, no two the same. I hate describing all the items that are on here. It should be fun. That's the sort of thing where if I just sit and try to think of items, I mean, I'm thinking of a bracelet. I just was talking about a bracelet. Some kind of unique material. Some kind of stone probably would be good. I'm thinking of 3 cups all chipped in the same location as if done intentionally. Now that popped into my head because I just read Brandon Sanderson's secret novel Tress of the whatever. I don't remember. And she was obsessed with cups, so cups popped into my head. But then to have them all dented, chipped in the same location, makes it just a little bit more quirky and fun. Making a list like that, though, it's often difficult. It's kind of nice to get out of your writing space and just walk around, look around, and just have some ideas come to you. Some kind of animal thing, a feather or scale. A pie, like just something completely random. A steaming pie. Like there's just literally a plate with a pie on it, and it's hot, and it just stays hot. It never gets cold. I don't. This might all change. Because again, the idea is that this stranger is supposed to have come from across the sea, from some other land. So they don't necessarily have to be magical items. He is. I have in my head the idea that he plundered this kingdom as this kingdom was falling, overrun by these monstrous plants. He was gathering things up in order to make a profit. So as I explore the history of that kingdom, this might change. There may not be a fallen kingdom. Maybe he just got it from some strange jungle. But okay, so we'll have a list of stuff that we'll describe here. ... I'll work on this. An auto had been on anyone plates and mats, no to the same. Bracelet. On each side of the collection sat a box, roughly the same size, both filled, not filled, overflowing. Both overflowing with one overflowing with something, the other seemingly empty. I like that because this gives Rick an opportunity to lean forward and show a very specific interest, and that's the opening for the merchant to start speaking. So yeah, so like Rick leaned forward, one eye on the stranger, to examine the the box more closely. I forgot. On each side of the collection sat a box. I was thinking about a simile, like bookends or like sentries at post, just giving the boxes a little bit more personality through the simile. That just feels like a good place for one. But I'll have to see if it fits as I continue working on that. Rick leaned forward, wanted to examine the box more closely. Oh, and this also was going to go in here somewhere. I'm going to make this... If I make it green, it's going to be really hard to see. If I make it dark green... I don't know where I want that. Rick leaned forward, one eye on the stranger, to examine the box more closely. Oh, let me hide the comments. I was working on the the scene, all the stuff that you can see when you're watching my stream, and it fits and it looks okay as long as I don't have the comments. The comments, it pushes the text over, and then you can't see as well. So I need to keep hiding that. Oh man. There's a lot of pollen in the air. There's a lot of fine dust in the air today. So I'm probably going to be coughing a lot. Rick leaned forward, one eye on the stranger, to examine the box more closely. Okay, and then our merchant can speak. How do I want him to talk? The stranger said. Voice smoother than Elm's well churned butter. The stranger said. A most curious item. I feel like that's how he would talk. So this is something I also want to work on, focus on. This is one of the, I think we're experiencing this story through Rick, and I feel like he's a farmer and he has a family. He's a farmer and a family man. So our figurative language, our similes, should all be connected to children, families, or the farm. It keeps us really rooted in that setting and in his point of view. He wouldn't be compared. I mean, that's one of the what I think is one of the fun things about writing high fantasy. I can't use similes with any sort of modern day technologies or anything like that. It has to be something that fits into that world. And I like to have things be really specific. If a character is a warrior, the similes are probably going to compare them to an animal. I mean, that goes all the way back to Homer's Odyssey. there's a lot of animal comparisons. The heroes are constantly compared to animals, I believe. I don't have my Odyssey here, or I would probably flip it open. See? That's why I have the sign. Warning. Making book suggestions to the writer will result in him going off on tangents. I'm doing it to myself. Okay. And again, we want to think about that voice being smooth. There's a quality to it. A most curious item. To Rick, it looked like nothing more than a I don't know. What should it be? What should the item in the box be? Something small that he couldn't see at first. The first thing that popped into my head was I was thinking about a monkey's paw, but then I was thinking about a weapon. And so then I was thinking about what if it's just the handle of an axe? And then I thought, what if the axe is like spectral? So you can hold the handle, but you can't see the axe. So the merchant could hold it up and draw it across his palm, and it suddenly he's bleeding. I don't know if that fits. That's just my train of thought. I feel like I should know what's going to be in there. Ultimately, it's not too important. He's not going to take whatever's in there, but it sets the mood. It sets the tone of the story. No, let's go with a glass figurine in the shape of a girl, probably his daughter's age. What little of the blue light this is going to be really rough. What little of the blue light, what little of the blue light reached the figure through or over the box's walls. Made shadows dance within the figurine. Rick was almost certain he saw a faint red glow at its very center. And then we could introduce some other setting. A minor demon's soul is trapped within that statue. Don't let its innocent appearance fool you. A minor demon soul is trapped within that statue. I mean, again, I'm leaning towards magical, which is fine, I guess, if that's where the story wants to take me. Don't let its innocent appearance fool you. Here's a fun idea. What do you see inside the box? We'll move that up here. What do you see inside the box? A little girl. Almost looks like one of my girls. It changes its shape. Hoping. All right. I have too many ideas. Hoping it changes its shape. Hoping to enticing us all with comfort and familiarity. Something, okay? And then hoping someone will take it home, put it on a high shelf, and while they sleep, it will fall and break open. Oh, this is terrible. The writing's really bad. I'll come back and fix it. I'm just trying to get this idea down. That's the most important thing. Releasing the creature within. I like the idea that there's this elaborate story about this thing. He's selling it. It's there. It's there for sale. But he's telling you this story, this cautionary tale. Oh, if you take it home, there's a demon inside, and it could escape. And then Rick's thinking, yeah, but you're selling it? And then the stranger kind of hesitates, right? Yes. Only, 1,000 bits. I don't know what the currency will be called. You just told me it houses a demon's soul. It's dangerous. Oh, it's dangerous. Why would I ever take something like that into my home? Oh, all right. I lied. I like the idea. I love that idea. I love the idea that this is something I'll have to flesh out and build upon. But the idea that Rick is not impressed and that this guy's trying to sell this to him or sell him on the item, and it's just so ridiculous to him. And then the stranger, the merchant, says, "Oh, all right, I lied. I used a bit of the art to make it glow in the center." Would you believe I sell a dozen of these a week? Something like that. People are really gullible and stupid. But I forgot to add hoping someone yeah, don't let its innocent appearance fool you. It changes its shape us all with comfort and familiarity. And then I wanted to add here, to me, the statue is an exact replica of oh, my dear sweet, mother, something. Either his mother or his lost home. This guy's not so much a legitimate merchant as he is a showman, a show person. He's kind of a con artist, but he's also a salesman. He's a salesman, and part of being a salesman is the making the sale. So we can't trust anything that he says. I used a bit of the art to make it glow in the center. Would you believe I sell a dozen of these a week? Doesn't surprise me. I gotta decide if I want to give Rick some kind of like country drawl or something like that. I'm not sure. That would not be easy for me to write, so I probably won't. But I do like the idea of him speaking in very short sentences, just very short, concise. Doesn't really talk about his feelings or anything like that. He just states facts, says what he needs to get through a conversation. That's who I picture him as. Sort of gruff farmer type. Not much does. And then challenge accepted. The stranger said. I'll probably give his voice a little bit of character there later. I'm I'm thinking maybe, or give him a little bit of action. I'm thinking about the cloak now, and those other two candles lighting up. So maybe, but also his voice. That was sort of the main thing. Uh, I don't know. Meeting. No. Uh, I'm thinking about his voice. What's the quality of it? How does it change throughout the conversation? I kind of I have a plan that this merchant, because he's a showman, he has already evaluated Rick, and he knows that Rick's going to look in that box and that he's not going to believe the story. It's all part of the plan. He knows that Rick is going to be interested in these seeds, and everything is designed to get Rick to see the seeds and buy the magic seeds. Hold on, what's this? At 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. next Saturday. Okay. Interesting. 12 and 1. Well, that's interesting. I'm starting a new teaching job next week, and I'm kind of I was excited at the opportunity, but I was nervous because it's not a normal teaching job. Most of the teaching jobs, you already have students, and so oh, I'm working this many hours and I'm teaching. I'm always going to have students because it's a class. There's 15 kids. This one, it's a one-on-one class. So each 55 minutes is a one-on-one class. So you could have a student for a month, you could have them for 3 months, you could have them for 2 weeks. It's constantly changing. So they have to constantly be trying to find new students for all of their teachers. And it makes me a little nervous because it's been about a week since I agreed to work there, and they've only found 2 students, and I'm supposed to be working like 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. I'm supposed to be working 6 hours and they've only filled 2 hours. It may just take a little bit of time. I won't worry about it. I'm not worried about it. Challenge accepted, the stranger said. Doesn't surprise me. Not much does. Oh, all right. I lied. I used my name. Would you believe I said it doesn't surprise me? Not much does. Challenge accepted, the stranger. Okay. And then he I'm gonna cut this. The stranger said, 2 more candles flickered to life. Dancing with the same bluish flame. These hovered at chest height between Rick and the stranger. Something that I want to do in my own writing is the names of people. I've always written where the person has a name and we get their name and we know their name and we always use their name right from the beginning of the story. And I've been reading a book where the character, the main character, doesn't know people's names. He sees someone and he just immediately identifies some physical characteristic or the weapon they have or anything, and he just makes up a name for them. And then that's who they are. And it's really effective. And I want to try and be more free with my character names in a way like that. I think that would be a lot of fun. Okay, so candles. We got the other two candles. These hovered at chest height between Rick and the stranger. The text is really big. I don't like it. I made it big so that it would be easier for viewers to see, but I would like it to be a little bit smaller. I hope that that's still okay. I would really like to make it even smaller, but I hope you enjoyed that video. Look in the description down below. There's a lot more that you can find. My blog, my self-published novel, I have a stream on Twitch, and there are a lot of other YouTube videos. From the Height of a Mind, I'm Mike.